We had some big news coming out of the NBA, man. Our guy, Steph Curry, has finally hit 4,000 threes. Can you say that out loud again? 4,000 threes, man. That is absolutely insane. The kid from Davidson College, man. What an amazing career this kid has had. I think as of now, if you already didn't give him enough praise already, he's got to start reaching into that GOAT status, right? Like, he's getting it to that level to where he could be – you got to put him on your Mount Rushmore possibly now because of what everything Steph brings to the game and everything that he does. Man, what's your thoughts on the 4,000? That is insane.
I mean, for what the game is today, it's probably the biggest accomplishment, like him and LeBron, what they've done in the last couple of years. 40,000 points, 4,000 threes, like that. It's a really one-of-one comparison. He is one of the greatest players of all time. He's one of the best players of this generation easily. And again, this game is so centered around threes. He is the guy that really started a lot of that. He started not just shooting 3-pointers off the catch and shoot, but he also off the dribble. The scoring gravity, the amount of movement that he does off the ball to be able to generate those threes. The game really has evolved because of him. And I would agree. I think that he belongs in that top 10 conversation for all-time great players. I think that you can make an argument for him being on the Mount Rushmore in terms of influence because the amount of players that have influence and change the game, guys like Jordan, guys like LeBron, like he is on that because the game literally evolved with him. We talk about it. Jordan being able to take the game to new heights, LeBron being able to kind of morph basketball into a positionless game, and now Steph Curry adding so much range and movement off ball. It's been amazing to see, and I think that he definitely it's another feather in the cap, and he already is the greatest shooter of all time, undisputed. Like I think we were talking about before the show, the next closest guy is Harden at like 3,000, and he's not going to catch Steph Curry.
Yeah, well, as of right now, so that it goes James Harden with 3,127, Ray Allen 2,973, Damian Lillard 2,794, Klay Thompson 2,667. Obviously, Ray Allen is retired at this point, so he's not going to be adding anything to it. Harden is close. I just don't foresee Harden being able to catch him because the way Steph plays, he's still active. And is it possible that he's going to catch 5,000 before he's done?
I don't. He'd have to average. I could see him probably playing at a high level for another like 3 to 4 years, maybe. I don't know necessarily if his body will hold up to age 40. Maybe. I mean, his game could very well take him there. He just
turned 37 on Friday.
Okay, so I've got him a lot younger than that. So I could be wrong, but I just think that probably 4,500 is going to be the safer bet at this point. I mean, if he's watching this and he hears me and he proves me wrong, I'm all good for that. But I think 4,500 is kind of a safe bet for his like career 3-pointers. But again, he's far and wide greatest shooter of all time. Like nobody can debate that at all. Like 3-pointers were not talked about. Like Kobe held the record for most threes in a game, and then Steph came along, blew that out the water. Ray Allen, kind of the same thing. They never generated 3-pointers at this volume, at this efficiency, the way Steph has. And again, off-ball movement too on offense, scoring gravity.
That's one of the biggest things about Steph as well is just the simple fact of if they had a hockey assist, Steph would have to be on there because Steph creates double teams all over the place, and he's one of the most active point guards in history. You never see him stop. The only person I really see him do is Reggie Miller, possibly, that would move around as much as he does. So as soon as the ball's out of his hands, he's not just standing still. He's constantly running around. Players hate guarding him because you have to be in great shape to be able to guard that kid. And what's wild, too, is that you literally have to guard him as soon as he steps across half court. And hell, even at half court, you have to put pressure on him because he can make it in the gym, anywhere in the gym. I always heard a funny term of it, in the gym range, meaning if he's in the gym, he can hit a shot. And it's just super impressive what he's been able to do in his entire career. Started off a little bit slow. Can you imagine if he didn't have those injured years in the beginning with his ankles, what his numbers would be?
Oh yeah, no. If he wasn't hurt, I would definitely say 5,000 is just a given at this point.
Yeah,
but, and that is the one thing for me that kind of. There's a little bit of hesitation as he does get older. Again, he has been used a lot strictly on offense. I know, especially with getting Jimmy Butler, it's allowed him to focus more on his game on offense. He doesn't have to carry. Yeah, he doesn't have to carry as much, especially when going inside. He can just run around more off ball. And then defensively, he doesn't have to, put as much of his attention there. So it is good for him, like this move for Butler. But yeah, I still see though, like at some point he is gonna start slowing down. Shooting will never fade for him, so I don't think that's gonna be the issue. I just think that the ankle problems that plagued him a lot as when he was younger, I think that they might start flaring back up again as he gets older. But again, we'll see how he takes care of his body. Maybe he's, maybe he's starting to invest in a little bit in the same people that have kept LeBron going all these years. I'd love to see it. I want to see these two kind of be like the eternal rivals that just don't, when one goes, that's when the other goes.
One last thing on Steph. Do you think Steph will ever be just like a off the bench guy? Like, do you think he could, because like you were saying, shooting's never going to go anywhere. Steph is obviously, he's not a bench guy, but
Yeah.
I feel like with Steph's attitude and how he approaches the game, he doesn't seem like that much of a diva. Your shooting's never going to go away. He's not also going to lose his shot. Now his ankles, like you're saying, his body might give out a little bit more. But how awesome would that be? Middle of the second quarter, you got your flamethrower coming in, and he's just going to shoot threes the whole time, and he could easily go to average like 15 points, 5 threes in a game, no problem for him. Do you think he could be like that, or do you think he's done? He's done.
I think that it's probably going to lean more towards that he's done, just because I think that he has grown as that alpha guy. Like, yeah, he's been basically Mr. Warrior his whole career.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I could see him potentially, being willing to sacrifice. If it means getting another championship, I could see it. But if it's more of, the team's kind of doing a rebuild, I don't think he's going to come off the bench for that. I think that's like, okay, my time's done. But I wouldn't mind seeing that, especially, give the man a 6th man of the year or something like that. That's another feather in the cap, like something just to add to his resume. I mean, he's a selfless player, but I do think that he has that alpha mentality of, if I'm not the best player, if I can't be the best player on the court, or at least good enough to start, I want to end it. So.
Yeah, I could definitely say it's just an interesting thought because of that he's able to, shoot so well that's not going to go anywhere. As you age, he could just maybe coming off the bench. But I kind of agree. But it'd just be kind of cool to see him. The other thing is too is he doesn't need to chase rings. He already has 4 rings already. Possibly the way the Warriors are playing, he could be contending for another one this year, possibly, or even next. But yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting concept. Like, imagine Steph coming off the bench. You're like, what are you going to do? You're going to have all your second-rate guys in there, and Steph's just shooting threes all over the place. It'd be kind of cool to see.
I also would have loved to have seen Jimmy Butler on this team like a few years ago when he was team hopping as much as he was. That would have been before he got to Miami. Like that, imagine starting lineup of like Steph, Clay, KD, Jimmy, and Draymond. That that you talk about far and beyond the greatest team of all time, easily.
Yeah, easily.